Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Hit the bell, subscribe. We have new content coming out daily. Make sure you subscribe. God bless you guys. Give us some update about what happened at the California Republican Party meeting this last weekend. Donald Trump spoke. It received a lot of attention, but there was a fair amount of fighting in the committees. Tell us all about it.
Well, Charlie, thanks for having me. Every 4 years, the California GOP, like most of the parties around the country, adopts a platform in anticipation for the national convention next year. And so we usually have a process where there are competing drafts that are submitted, and the platform committee, which consists of party leaders, including myself, get to vote on it. This year around, like in prior years, there was an effort to really water down the platform on a couple of points: abortion, traditional marriage, as well as our commitment to Prop 13, California's landmark tax law that keeps taxes low on property taxes. So we really had a concerted grassroots effort to challenge these watering down efforts on the platform. And it was kind of a grassroots and base versus establishment fight. And with a concerted effort, I'm proud to say that we defeated the effort to water down our platform and kept it conservative. But the reason I think this is important is with a national platform, a similar effort goes on every 4 years. And there are some folks who try their best to get onto the platform committee of their RNC convention just for purposes of watering it down, particularly on social issues. And so I want to make sure that conservatives around the country are aware of this and start making their plans to keep the platform conservative.
So, yeah, talk about how they were trying to strip the social issues. In particular, it looks like this article, California GOP rejects effort to strip abortion, same-sex marriage from the platform. Who are the ones that were pushing this?
Well, it's so interesting. So within the platform committee, which is up to 200 people, there's a drafting committee that is elected from the platform committee. And there was a circulated slate that was called the leadership slate that was, basically a lot of social liberals in the party. Some of these folks are my friends. We welcome their vote in the party. But in terms of what the platform is not for going door to door and knocking on doors to convince unconvinced voters. It's for the base. It's for the volunteers. It's for our core conservative activists. It's the heart. It's the constitution of the party, if you will. And so to water that down means that what you're trying to do is pander to the left or Democrat voters and not considering the expense to our base. And so, for me, both ideologically, I am a conservative, and that's why I'm in the party. I don't think that trying to make ourselves Democrat light is in any way going to help us either win elections or be morally correct. And so I did lead this effort with a couple of other conservatives in the party. So even though the drafting committee produced this liberal draft, the grassroots of the party united. We had people in the room. We had a concerted effort. And by the end of the day, the morning of the vote, we had the legislative leaders in California, as well as 3 members of Congress on our side. And it really was a snowball effect. And the other side just kind of retreated and lives to fight another day. I can guarantee you this will be back in 4 years.
Yeah. So, Harmeet, I just want to talk about California in general. It was notable 10 or 12 or 15 years ago, California rejected the redefinition of marriage by ballot referendum. And then like 10 or 15 years later, you have the Republican Party trying to remove what the voters just a decade ago clearly said, marriage should not be redefined. I understand that public sentiment has changed on the issue, but I don't think it's actually changed nearly as much as they think it has. I actually think, and by the way, polling is showing that social conservatism is coming back in popularity. But Harmeet, we're never going to win as Republicans if we think we can just continue to water down the essence of conservative truth and then somehow win as like Democrat light in Orange County. Or can you talk about that? Because not too long ago, California sent a message to the nation that marriage was one man and one woman.
Well, that was Proposition 8. It was an epic fight. And what the, sort of call it the reform wing of the party is saying today is, oh, well, this is outdated because the Supreme Court has ruled that you can't discriminate on this basis. And so Look, the Supreme Court has ruled a lot of things over the years, including the Dred Scott decision, including, some decisions that we look back on, Buck versus Bell, and we disagree with. This isn't necessarily in the same vein, but let's just say the platform is going to take a long while and the base is going to take a long while to get there to eliminate that plank. And if we ever did that, which I disagree with, it would definitely alienate a lot of our base and be suicidal. But this isn't the first time. Look, I've had to fight with leaders in California who just want to be more popular and say, oh, let's go for a carbon tax and let's, water down our commitment to anti-tax and other issues. Conservatives have to realize that there are forces in the party who, for their own reasons, want to use the party to validate their choices, their career goals, or what have you. And this isn't the place for that. So in prior conventions, I've seen the same battle take place on socially liberal issues at the national convention. And there are people who campaign just to get on that, just to make a fuss. It becomes a media spectacle, and it is a distraction in our goal of winning elections. And so at the end of the day, I don't know how I, as an activist, convince people to get out there on weekends and join me, do the work that like our friend Scott Pressler does to get out there and register voters. If we're very similar to the Democrats, what's the point? It's not motivating. So I think we have to draw those sharp distinctions just tactically, as well as do what is morally right for our party and for our own values.